And away we go.
And it's episode 23. That's Steve. I'm Al. The unofficial sponsor of the day is Hat Creek. We've talked about them before, but the interesting thing is this time we didn't go for the chicken. We both got beef. Yeah,
Weird. And you know what? One of the reasons is because we're an hour and a half or more, an hour earlier than usual, and nothing was open except for Hat Creek. And maybe we kind of maybe got breakfast to go out at that place down the street, but
could have, but oh well.
So I was like, okay, and normally, like Al said, we'd get the freaking chicken, but
yeah. So this is probably our last one before the new year, and definitely the last one before Christmas. We may only have 2 or 3 segments. Last time we only had 3 segments, but we're here anyways, and we've got 2 or 3 ideas. So we're going to start it off with the random rambling of Trump on this last Wednesday. I started off watching it online with a group of people. So, we're not all in the same room, but we're all talking about it.
Can you tell me, maybe you were going
to,
but sure. Just what was he talking about and where and why? Like, what was the setting?
It wasn't very well defined. It literally was, hey, we know that Trump.
It wasn't a French conference. It wasn't a.
No, it was. He was going to come on and talk to the people, but nobody really knew what he was going to talk.
He just said press conference.
It was a press conference.
Okay.
Yes. But nobody really knew ahead of time what he was going to talk about.
Gotcha.
And my apart from the fact that it was just painful to listen to. Literally, I listened for about 2 minutes, and then I had to drop off, and then I went back and I read up on what he'd said and stuff. But most people, and I think even Fox News basically said that all he did was just lie after lie after lie. But where it gets interesting is some of the lies are just these crazy ass things where he says that, the economy was terrible and now it's good, because that's not true at all. In fact, what's interesting, and this is kind of sidestepping, but it's not at all in some ways, is they finally came out with the jobs numbers and the economic numbers because they didn't even bother to come out with them last month. And what's interesting is we can basically assume that they're doctoring the numbers to make them look as good as possible, right? And even knowing that they're doing that, things look terrible. Like unemployment's up and inflation's up and just everything, nothing is good. And that's after knowing that it's probably worse than we're hearing. But what I was telling Steve is interesting is there were parts of his speech where if you didn't know the backstory, and a lot of us had to look it up to figure it out, he was doing an interesting con job with some of the stuff. Like there was a part where he was talking about giving money to the military. And I think everybody kind of looked at their heads. Anybody not in the military, sorry, let me phrase it that way, probably kind of scratched their heads and went, what's he talking about? He's not really going to give anybody any money because he never does when he talks about these things. Well, he's not, but he is. And what I mean is the military is getting that money, but they were going to get it anyways. It's a housing stipend that they get once a year, and it has nothing to do with anything that Trump is doing. He's trying to take the credit for it.
Right, so he's not giving it.
He's not giving it. They're getting it, but he's not giving it.
It's not him who's doing it.
Right.
He's taking credit for something he didn't do.
Right.
And always in denial of things he does do. That's what he does.
Yeah. And I don't know if this was in the speech or not, but it goes back to the whole Trump taking credit for things. He's trying to take credit for a TikTok deal. Well, there is no TikTok deal. But as I pointed out, he probably has the power to kill TikTok right now if he wanted to. But he can't force the sale because that requires China to sign off on it, and they're not going to do that. And part of why they're not going to do that is their whole culture. They will not sign off on the intellectual property, and if they don't sell the algorithm, then they haven't really sold TikTok, because that's like the magic sauce that differentiates it from everything else. And otherwise, you're just selling users and hardware and whatnot. So yeah, the back. Oh, I did just think of one other thing. Every time I think that MAGA can't be any more confused or confusing, they surprise me. I was talking to somebody the other day. I think it was probably as a result of this speech about inflation, and he was like, "Yeah, under Biden we had 21% inflation." I was like, "Where the hell did you get that number?" Well, apparently what he was doing is he was taking like 5% for 1 year and adding it to 5% for another year and another 5%, and that's 15, and another 5%, and that's 20. And it's like, nobody does that. That's not how you calculate inflation. But that's what some segment of MAGA is doing to get these weird ass numbers. Which, if they did that for Trump, it would look even worse. But no, it's the convenient. Oh, we're going to use weird magical math to when we're talking about the guy we don't like, and then we'll go back to real math when we're dealing with Trump.
Or not even real.
Yeah, well, not even real, but more normal, I guess I should say. So
like, my first comment is going to be that I didn't see the speech. I don't have to.
yeah.
I don't have to see anything that guy ever says anymore because it's just a bunch of bullshit and lies.
Oh,
That's the way it's been. Go ahead.
Oh, I remember something else. The thing that a lot of people have been saying was instead of watching the speech, you should go out and rewatch your favorite Rob Reiner movie, which brings up a related topic.
Maybe we'll make that another topic.
Okay, maybe we'll make that another topic. Anyway,
So, you got something to say to add then?
no, I almost feel like we need to just wrap it up because
All right, let me just say my piece on this.
Sure.
So, first of all, his speech. So what? Like, he's gonna lie every single time. I think the only difference in one way might be the outrageous nature of some of the things he's saying is even. I don't even know how that can be, because going back to his first presidency, some of the shit he was saying was so insane. Injecting bleach and nuking clouds. And I mean,
Yeah.
the guy couldn't get any more ridiculous. So
No,
I don't know, like, I think it's just the frequency and the intensity is a little bit more now. But he was always talking about, like, robotic sharks and weird shit. Like, so, I don't know. This is no different, really, than anything he's ever done. Like I said, it might be slightly more egregious than in the past. But it's no surprise, and it doesn't matter. Because here's what I'm going to really get to. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, because the people who like him, who think that he's doing a good job, are not in reality. And you cannot present them with reality, and they're going to take whatever they hear and try to distort or twist to fit they're going to use some kind of cognitive bias or information bias to keep their narrative and their identity intact. And they have this concept. Look, they base most of these people like this. They base everything in fear. Everything is, they've done studies, and this shows that a lot of like people that are very conservative and religion, things like, they have an enlarged amygdala, and that's your fear center, right? So they care more about comfort and safety than reality, than what is real. So they aren't making their understanding, because people say, well, they're voting against their own interest. And I've kind of always had this concept, and I watched a guy kind of flesh this thing out. And I've watched a bunch of different videos that kind of put all this stuff together. But they're not thinking at the same level. So for them, they are voting for their interest because their interest is safety and not reality. So that's the same thing with religious people and these people that are conservative, because in their mind, the hierarchy, the white supremacy is safety, right? And the same for any minorities that get wrapped up in this thing, because they want the illusion of safety and proximity to power. And it's the religious thing that also gets them fucked up in the head when you're talking about this stuff. So, yeah, this is not about reality. So it doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter, because he can say that it's better, and they're going to, in their mind, believe it's better. And any evidence that you give that's contrary to that evidence, they're going to dismiss. They're going to say it's fake news. They're going to say that do your own research. But what happens is that you'll present them with research from all different areas and arenas, and they're still going to deny it. And then they're going to present you with evidence that is obviously tainted from a Fox News or a Newsmax or something else, somebody who obviously has an agenda, proven liars. And even if some of them are so far gone that they won't even listen to Fox anymore because that's not crazy enough for them. And because, like you said, even Fox sometimes will be like, "Hey, then this is fucking unhinged," and some commentators will go on Fox and say shit's unhinged, right? But you know, Hannity was on the other day, and he was trying to. This is how crazy this shit is. He was trying to say that because Republicans are more fear-based, that they identify fears, that makes them like that's a flex. It's like, dude, do you understand psychology? Fear-based logic is fucking wrong almost every time. It's either catastrophized or it's some kind of. Whenever you do like shadow work, or if you've done any kind of psychological work on yourself, you know fear is probably your worst enemy. It's going to make you do things you shouldn't do, or do things or stop you from doing things you should do.
Yeah.
That's what fear normally does. And in this day and age, because of the way look, this is, fear is obviously a very important thing about survival, right? And 100,000 years ago, without it, you died, But in this day and age, in advanced society, it's not these fear-mongering. Read the book Lord of the Flies. It was the fearful, superstitious idiots that ruined it for fucking everybody, So that's what these assholes are. They make shit up. They make up the monster in the forest and put a fucking pig's head on a stick. They're fucked up in the head. So you can't rationalize with somebody like that. So Trump getting up there and talking, spitting shit, that's not shit. Because it soothes their. All right, so we're gonna have to stitch this together.
Technological issue, yeah.
Well, no, I gotta delete this shit off my camera. All these videos I got on here, and I deleted a bunch of stuff, but I didn't delete my trash because I'm fucking stupid sometimes.
No,
so
you're just not used to doing that.
yeah, I've never maxed out my camera before, so I just need to delete a bunch. It's all in the cloud anyway, so I don't know what I'm wasting time. I'm just not deleting all that crap. Anyway, so yeah, I was just saying, I was repeating some shit. I was probably sending some episodes, 20 back or so, but. The bottom line is Trump's going to get up there. He's going to talk absolute fucking shit. They're going to say ICE is doing their job, even though they're just arresting fucking people trying to go to work. This has nothing to do with criminals, because they are the criminals. They're getting criminals, and even if they are getting people, some of them might be here undocumented. A lot of them are going through the process, so that's illegal. The way they're doing it is illegal. They're the criminals. ICE is the criminals. They're not getting criminals. Yeah, certainly if somebody is undocumented and they do a criminal act, they should probably be deported. If it's
and
violent,
nobody's arguing otherwise.
If it's violent,
yeah.
If they're violent and it's repeated, of course, nobody's arguing that. No one's ever argued that. This argument that Biden and Obama deported more people. Oh, now all of a sudden they're deporting more. Yeah, you're right, they did. But guess what? They did it at the border and they did it legally. Was it ethical? I don't know. Probably not. They should have let some of these people in. But they were under a lot of heat, from this bullshit, when there should be an easy pathway for people to get in here. And the only reason they're not legal is because the pathway sucks. It's shitty. They're here working. They should have an easy way to be documented.
Some of them, there were at least 100, I want to say 1,000, but there were at least 100 former military that have been picked up by ICE.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's outrageous.
You served our country and we're going to try and kick you out?
But that's not what they're hearing. Because they're in these echo chambers. They're in these bubbles. And any reality that you present them, they're going to dismiss. Because it destroys their grandiose false self.
Yep.
And it's too painful to acknowledge that white people are, look, some of the most fucking horrible people that fucking ever existed on the planet. And when they came here and fucking just took over this place, they killed everybody and they enslaved a bunch of people and they want to maintain that fucking power structure. And if you're behind these guys, that's what you're doing. That's all there is to it. And this ICE shit that's all it is. What Trump is doing is just white supremacy. He's backed by white supremacists. I mean, nobody had to sit there and defend, and I've heard this, and I know I'm going all over the place here, but I just want to bring this point home. I mean, bring it back to Charlie Kirk, who we talked about a bunch of times. That motherfucker, nobody had to sit there and defend what, Fred Rogers said. Mr. Rogers,
yeah.
He's a good guy, yeah, nobody's denying it. Because you don't have to, go, you took him out of context. Would you be my neighbor out of context? The guy was a racist bigot who had it out because he got kicked out of, he didn't get accepted to West Point. He had a grudge against people from that day on because he was too pathetic to get into anything or do anything in his life. So he's got to blame somebody. The mythical, you know, that's why they don't want DEI. And I'm all over the place. But yesterday, what's his name? That fucking stupid YouTuber, Jake. He went up against a real boxer. The one who went up against Tyson a couple months back.
Okay.
God, why can't I remember? Because I can't remember names. Anyways, there's this clown who's this YouTuber, fucking whatever, you know, Instagram dude. God, why can't I remember his name?
Jake Tapper?
No.
Okay.
Why don't you look it up for me?
Okay.
So he fought last night and got his fucking clock cleaned. Because once again, it's just this pathetic white dude who, you know, who tries to get into the ring with a real fucking person that can't compete. And that's what all these fucking white dudes are. So, yeah, so, you know, if that's why they don't want DEI. DEI has nothing to do with unqualified people getting into somewhere in life. And then Jake Paul or something, just put it in there. Can you just type?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So, anyways, the other guy's name was Paul.
What is it?
So, yeah, that's the whole.
Jake Paul, yeah.
Who did he fight?
28-year-old.
Yeah, that's fucking idiot. So that ass clown, you know, he fought Tyson, but there was, you know, Tyson's 4 years old, and I think Tyson pulled a couple punches on that fight where he could have knocked him out. But this guy didn't break his jaw, literally broke his fucking jaw. So he had it coming. And I'm glad he broke his fucking jaw, I'll tell you honestly, because he was talking shit. And he got in there with a real fucking fighter and got his clock cleaned. Just like Charlie Kirk got his clock cleaned by those kids up in, you know, but here's the funny part. With Charlie Kirk, some people could say Charlie Kirk won because they don't understand what a debate really is, right? This time they can't say Jake Paul won because he fucking got his fucking jaw broken, and that's what happened to Charlie Kirk every fucking time because they're a bunch of fucking idiots who need their jaws broken sometimes.